Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. Couldn't be here a little earlier and a little pressed for time, but I am here and I'm going to continue to show up as I stated, unless I have some sort of um, situation going on where it's just not possible. But anyway, how was everyone's weekend? I hope you all had a great weekend and that this information that I'm sharing on this channel is helping you guys because grief and pain and loss is very difficult. And we never get over it, but we can get through it and get on with our lives and live our life and be our best self. It's not easy, but it's necessary. So it's Monday, and before I get into the topic of discussion, um, did anyone see the game last night, the Super Bowl? So everybody thought the 49ers was going to win. At first, I did too. But before the game started, I got this real, like, overwhelming feeling that the Chiefs were going to win it. And I should have bet on it. I would have won. But anyway, I'm here and again, hope everyone is doing good. The topic of discussion today is keep healing and be proud of yourself. It's important to keep going. It's important to never give up on yourself, to invest in yourself. It's so important. It doesn't matter people who doesn't like it and who don't want to see you happy because there's haters out there. And they don't want to see some people grow and evolve and leave them behind. But in my case, and I always talk from my perspective, because I'm not a licensed social worker. I don't have a degree in that category, but I'm talking about all the experiences that I've gone through and what has helped me to grow. Now, what I realize is that, God will keep allowing me to keep going through the same lesson until I learn it. And that didn't feel good because once the lesson come around the second time, it's worse than before. Third time, it's even worse. And it gets worse every time that will spin and I don't learn the lesson. So I figure out a way for me to learn the lessons is to just, one of the things I had to do was therapy, number one. And as I started to do the work with therapy, and when my therapist kept saying set boundaries, I had to figure out a way to do that. So I made a pro and a kind list of everyone that was in my life. And what I noticed is that the kind list outweighed the pros. And then I looked at all the toxicity involved and what does these individuals add to my life? Are they adding something or are they subtracting? And the answer that I came with the majority was they were subtracting from my life. Not only were they subtracting, they were adding toxicity. So just imagine that you have all these people, um, you know, friends, family, my mother, dog, all these people passing away, and then someone and a few someone's are in your life not helping you to get through the pain and the grief of it all, but they're adding to your plate of pain through toxicity and doing the most and the worst behind the scenes. So I had to really get aggressive. And one of the things I learned, like I talked about on Friday, guys, I talked about the first thing I had to do after my therapist talked to me. He talked to me a few times about it, not just once, about setting boundaries. And once I did that pro and con list of everything, I had to take back my power. Because as I talked about in Friday's video, I was giving my power away. It's like the movie, guys. Have you ever seen The Lost Boys? I have, that was on the other night. I also have the DVD of it. Now, the vampire could not come into the house until he was invited. That's how it is with your power. People can't take it unless you give it to them. They can try and they can be behind the scenes doing the worst and the most, but no one can take your power away or your self esteem unless you give it to them. I had to learn that. It took me years to learn this, people, because I was just letting people take over. I talked about also, I dated someone who was for 10 years, and I gave all my power away. Let this person do certain things for me because I thought in my eyes, this was generosity and this person showing their love for me, but it wasn't. It was them controlling and taking away my power, because I'm giving the things that I know I could do myself, but I'm giving it to that person, and without realizing that this is what I'm doing. And for a long time, my self-esteem was shot. I couldn't make decisions. If I did, things wasn't working out, and it was just awful. And it took me all this time to learn you don't give anybody your power, because then they can manipulate you like a puppet on a string. If I want you to go this way, you go that way. If I don't want you to do that, you can't do it, etc. So after I gathered all this stuff together and went deep within myself, to understand why I was doing these things, and what was going on, I realized I had to make some decisions, make some changes in my life. And that was very difficult to do. One of the ways I did this is by cutting people off. I would probably, with some of them, have a conversation to see if things were going to change for the better. But when I realized it wasn't, and it was going to just be full of toxicity, I knew I had to cut people off, because I can't get better and I can't heal if I got toxicity all around me and people who don't want to see me get better because they're not doing the work. So they don't want to see me do the work and get better. I had to cut off, block, and delete. And the first few times it hurt. I cried and everything and talked to my therapist over and over and over again until I got it out of my system. And God wanted me to see these people didn't mean me any good. They were just eating off of me, whatever my energy, my light, and not only that, whatever they could get from me. I had to close the door and padlock it and, get it out of uproot it and get it out. It's like a weed. If you're growing flowers and you got weeds all over the garden, it's going to choke those flowers and they're going to shrivel up and die. And that's what was happening to me by, keeping these individuals in my life, because every time I tried to get on the path to healing, I was being dragged back to the past and situations and toxic situations and etc. And I had to learn, in order for me to grow and to heal, I had to cut off, block, and delete. And as I started to do that, things did start to get better for me. Little by little, I took a step. Then it didn't feel good. It was uncomfortable. It's always going to be that way in the beginning. Then no matter what's going on around me, take another step, just keep going, going. I just heard within me after I started praying to God is to keep going. Don't give up on yourself. Invest in you. Keep it moving. And as I did that, the harder things got easier. A little bit more, keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. It eventually gets a little bit easier, as you keep going along. It's never easy, but it gets easier as you stay on a path and you continue to move forward. And the noise around you that's so loud in the beginning and it's screeching loud, it starts to get dimmer and dimmer to the point where you don't even hear it anymore. It doesn't affect you. You're unbothered by it. And that's how it was with me. I started to become unbothered about the noise around me, the gossip, the lies, the viciousness, the whatever, and then I learned how to go into prayer with God and make vows and keep those vows to him. And as I do that and stay in prayer, I would transmute all that toxicity and negativity and give it to him, because people were trying to come back into my life to reconcile things that there was no reconciliation for. You know, we can forgive, but it doesn't mean we reconcile. Forgiveness is for us, people. Forgiveness is definitely for us. And as we forgive, we move forward. And before you can do any of these things that I just mentioned, you have to start the healing process and start to love yourself. When you love yourself, not be in love with yourself. We all are supposed to love ourselves. You start to invest more in yourself, your health, everything about yourself, because your physical, mental health means everything. Without that, you can't give to anything else. You have to invest in you and do that. And as I started to do that, it was easier to get rid of the toxicity because I didn't want it in my life anymore. You know, it was important to uproot it and get rid of it, just like weeds that are choking flowers. You have to uproot it, get rid of it. You have to go to the source that's causing it, and uproot it and get rid of it. And I had to look within myself and ask myself, why was I allowing people to take my power? Why was I being subservient to others and giving too much when they were only given an inch of anything? It was never equal give and take. And then why was I allowing people to abuse me verbally or maybe even physical sometimes? I had to do the work with the therapy to understand that. And then I had to go back into my childhood and look at things that, you know, made me feel a certain way. And as I continued to do the work, go through the pain of it, it got easier and easier. And now, I don't let it bother me. I just let people know the past doors that I've closed, padlock and locked, are going to stay locked, you know, and I'm not going back to anything from the past because, like I said, I've already given everything to it. There's nothing else to give to it. It's toxic, and I'm on the road to recovery and healing. And when I say recovery, recovery from toxicity, all forms of it, taking back my power, and it's important. And if you are on a path already and you guys started the work, be proud of yourself. Look in the mirror every day, even if you haven't started, but you're about to. Look in the mirror when you get up. Thank God for another day, and look in the mirror and say, I am worth it. I deserve better, and I deserve to invest in myself. And if other people don't understand it, no matter who they might be, you explain you have to invest in you so you can be the best version of yourself, so you can be better. And if no one can't see that, then, for me, I don't have time for it. I have to redirect the focus to me and keep it moving, because it's too much, it's too much of the other stuff in the world today, and it's important that we keep ourselves up. And, just like you take care of everything else around you, you have to invest in you. That should be a priority. And then everything else can fall into place. So that's the message today, guys. I have to leave again. Tomorrow perhaps the messages will be a little bit longer, but I do have to go. And I wanted to get on here and encourage you. You're going to have bad days and good days, but don't give up on yourself. You are worth it. And please share this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep this going. Uplift other people. When we feel better, we do better, and then we can help others to do the same. This is Lisa, always shedding love and light and encouraging you as much as I can. Thank you for being here, everyone. Have a good Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.